living, always alive, the living, eternal God. Then he tells you what he's not. La means no in Arabic. La takhudhuhu sinatun wala naum. And he doesn't grow weary. He doesn't get tired. He doesn't need any rest. And he doesn't naum. Naum in Arabic, it means sleep. He doesn't sleep. And this is different from what we find in some texts that have been corrupted over the years. According to the scholars of the Bible, they're not positive on that subject, where on the seventh day he rested. They have some difference of opinions on that. And of course we as well. We'll say God doesn't need to rest. In any case, when we ask Allah to tell us who he is and who he is not, we're looking in the Quran and we find another passage which is in the third from the last surah. It's called Ikhlas, or sincerity. It starts like this: A'udhu billahi min shaitanir rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Qul huwa Allahu ahad. Say, because it's explaining that when somebody asks you about God, this is what you should say. Say, he is Allah, and then it uses a word in Arabic, ahad, from a root word which is wahad, which means one. But ahad is so uniquely one that there's no two coming after it. You got it? Qul hu Allahu ahad. Say he is Allah. He is unique. And as we already mentioned earlier, the he here doesn't refer to gender, but rather royalty or dignity. And we always capitalize the H in English when we refer to Allah or he, to show that this is his royalty or his majesty. He is unique. And then it says, Allahu Samad. And this is one of his characteristics, attributes, if you will, or one of his names is the term we use in English when we explain his Isma wa Sifat. Samad means eternal. Eternally independent from his creation, and at the same time all of his creation is dependent on him. Allahu Samad. Then it negates 3 times lam, which means absolutely not. Lam yalid, wa lam yulad, wa lam yakulluhu kufuwan ahad. It means he is not the father of anything. He's not the son of anything, walid. And he doesn't compare to anything. He is ahad, unique. There's a misconception amongst a lot of folks about what Muslims believe about God. We as Muslims don't say what some other faiths say about their God. If they said God can do anything, for instance, we'll say, hold on, let's talk about it. If they say, well, God is everywhere, we're going to say, hold on a second, let's talk about that. And to break those two down, the first one I like to address is the subject of God do anything. Well, if you say yes, then they're going to ask you a trick question. Can God make a rock so big that nothing can move it? If you said, well, yeah, he's God, then they could come back and say, yes, but after he makes this big rock that nothing can move it, can he move it? Now what will you say? You say, well, yeah, he's God, he can move it. Oh, so he can't make a rock so big that he can't move it. Becomes a trick question. For us, we don't have this problem because we don't put him in the creation or like the creation. Does that make sense? We're going to say that he can make a rock so big that nothing in the creation can move it. Follow that? But he's not in the creation, and when he does anything, he doesn't compare to the creation. When he wants anything done, he doesn't come down off of a cloud and get a fulcrum, and a lever and try to move something. He doesn't have to lift it up like Samson or Hercules and try to move it like Atlas or something like this. The way that he operates is, and he tells us in the Bible, and he tells us in the Quran, essentially the same thing. Whenever he wills anything to be done, he merely says be, and it is. Or in Arabic, kun fayakun. Another example is you said, can he do anything? This is a pretty wide open statement. We have an expression in Arabic, Allahu ala kulli shay'in qadir. Usually the translators say this means God can do anything. But if you use that in English, somebody could come back and say, does this mean that God could die? He said he could do anything. Does this mean that God could lie?